excitement here at the Chemapol Trophy Czech Open. It's feeding time, and it's payday for the professional golfers. A lot of money at stake. A first prize, £125,000, and every chance of our 12th first-time winner in this, the 27th event on the European Tour schedule this year. This is the man who leads at the moment, Jonathan Lomas, by 1 from Daniel Chopra. But this is to save his par at 16 and to stay that way. Oh. Good effort, and that little tiddler back. Well, it's not a tiddler, it's maybe 2.5, 3 feet, but that to now tie the lead. Not so long ago, it was a 3-way tie, and Lee Westwood double bogey at 16, 17, and he probably doesn't know quite what went wrong. Second into 18, again just a wedge. 431 yards. Pin over the left-hand side bunker, and that's working its way back towards the hole. Will give him a downhill putt. Be an uphill putt, beg your pardon. Miles Tunnicliffe. To 17. And with Jamie Spence. And these two into, I don't believe it, routine really. Missing putts and missing shots, and it's just one of those days. It's our joint leader. I'll thread this through the trees. A little draw will do you no harm at all. And there it is. It's possibly in the light rough, but it's above ground. And believe me, on this hole it's much better than a fade. A fade will get you wet. Well, the shot goes, but could have been worse. How's the lie? In fact, it's sandy, and he's in the on the upslope as well. Just makes it a little bit harder. Got to get a firm base, and this is not really much leg movement. 4 hands and 4 arms shot. In the end, nicely done. It's the percentage shot. It probably will have to settle for a par. It's at 17 that could prove the decisive hole. That just about in reaching 2. That's when either Lomas or Chopper will have to make the move you fancy. But impressed by his temperament, the way he's kept going. 2 lots of hotels. Posing for the camera. Let's see a smile as well, but he's well, he's earned that sponsorship. That's paid for. Yeah, ahead at the 17th. Tunnicliffe for a 4. 62nd in the Volvo rankings. That's why it's been a good season. 4 top 10. Paul Laureate at 18. I think a lot of people had a feeling there have been a few backing Paul Laureate that he might have been the one to come out of the pack and fire in a 64 or a 65. In fact, he's gone the other way. He's a fine prospect, now a winner. And still learning, still getting better. Peter Mitchell.
Hold on. longer.
Mitchell on 17, quite a wide fairway, and that's okay. Would need a spectacular finish to take this, but back of his mind perhaps still a chance of a place in the Dunhill Cup side. Almost 2 birdies out of 3 here so far.
Come on, say go.
It's just a bit to the left, and again it's a question of how she lies. May not be in need of a fairway wood, a metal wood, to get at it to get up, and if it's not lying well and he has to take an iron, won't be able to get on in 2. At share of 3rd place in Italy equalled Jonathan's best finish on tour, which was tied 3rd in the Benson and Hedges 2 years ago. And here's Gary Orr, still looking for one of the bigger checks. And sometimes you need a little chip like that to go in to turn it around. And it hasn't. Not much has happened for Gary today, and that must be frustrating. Well, if that had hopped in. A putt for the lead for Daniel Chopra. And if he could complete an Indian takeaway of the best possible kind, take away a cool £125,000. I'm a bit scared of that. That's the first one we've seen him tentative on. Shows that the pressure is increasing. Might have been just a misjudgment. At least he will have an uphill putt to save his par. Now Lee Westwood. Oh, he's going to finish with a 69, which is perfectly respectable, but well, he won't need reminding how good it could have been. Should really have been setting the target at 11, 12 under. There you see all the birdies. Pretty well ruled out the good they'd done at 16 and 17. Well, the 16 it really has proved to be a bit noir for the leaders. First of all, there was Westwood with his double bogey, and then Lomas with the bogey 5, and now Daniel Chopra has done likewise, and he's one behind. Inwardly must be seething, cursing. Maybe not the second putt, it was the first putt that left the door open. Paul Lawrie, by the way, finished with a 74 playing with Lee Westwood. Might have been weak for Jamie Spence. Still could be a great week for Domingo. And he got this for a share of the lead with Jonathan Lomas. Just the right time as well. He was unlucky, there was so much action on his third shot, and just a par, and really needed a birdie, and it wouldn't drop. would not drop, and that may be his chance gone. Here's Lomas. He's having to go with the iron, just playing safe, no real heroics. Avoiding all the sand, and still has a chance of getting up and down for a 4. So he's still in the driving seat at the moment. Leading by 1 from now Domingo Hospital and Daniel Chopra. Well, the Spaniards must feel he should be level. Peter Mitchell, well, his chance surely has gone now. He's 7 under with 2 to play as we look through 1 or 2 of the other scores, but the scoring has got better and better. And we're almost there. It's down to the wire in the £750,000 Chemapol Trophy Czech Open. Who's our winner going to be? It's between 3. It's between Lomas, Chopra and Hospital. And we'll be back for more action after these. The closing stages really of the Czech Open. This is Peter Mitchell's second shot at 17. 4 shots adrift now. 17th par 5, that would have been good enough, but away to the left, pin high. And not a great deal of green to work with. It'll be very hard for Peter to get close and make his birdie from there. He's going to hold a medium range putt for his 4. So Jonathan Lomas 1 ahead of Daniel Chopra and Domingo Hospital. Between those 3 now. 2 cumulus nimbus starting to close in, but I think we're going to finish this tournament no problem. There were threats of thunderstorms at the beginning of the week. In fact, they had a lot of heavy rain and electrical storms, but any fears receded. Blue skies though for Jonathan Lomas at the moment, leader by 1, and in pretty good shape on 17, short in 2, had to lay up. 17 a birdie opportunity, of course, and if Lomas can make his 4, he's really going to put the pressure on Daniel Chopra, the player behind. So Lomas looking to make the big breakthrough. Meanwhile, on 18, Miles Tunnicliffe to finish 7 under. He will have to settle for a level par 71. He finishes at 6 under, and that should be just about good enough to squeeze Miles into the top 10 once again. Very consistent season, a 5-figure check to go with him. Right. 17th, one of the most generous fairways at Mariánské Lázně. And Daniel Chopra safely on. 3rd shot for Lomas. The bunker, over the pin, and not quite, but he will have a chance for a 4, will have a putt. Again, a little bit of a behind the back putter. Now let's see if Jamie Spence can finish by holding a putt. Bet on it. Got himself in a frame of mind that distrusts the surface a little, and you're almost wanting to miss to prove a point. So a 70 for Jamie. He finishes at 7 under, and a week that will please the bank manager, but he will know that it might just have been a very special week. He started with a 67 back on Thursday, one of our 4 first-round leaders. Well, there's 17 the way it's played at the moment. 7 eagles so far, plenty of birdies. 1 or 2 players finding trouble off the tee, and one of those 3 double bogeys belonging to Lee Westwood, and that paid to his chances. See the line not too bad for Peter Mitchell, but he really has got no green at all, just 3 paces on from the left hand side, and he has to go past the pin if he is to be putting
Sit there.
Got it to stop pretty quickly, and that was the most lofted wedge he has in the bag.
Hard up the right.
Just slightly against me and going that way.
I might have it left in.
Well, reassessing the goals for Peter Mitchell. He needs to hang on to a place in that top 4 or 5 to get past Jim Payne and maybe into the English Dunhill Cup side. There's Domingo Hospital, safely up the left-hand side of the fairway at 18. Because if he makes birdie at 18, makes it very interesting for those that come behind. It's still looking at a chance of our 5th play of the year, I have to say.
Right in, is it?
Yeah, straight in the middle.
Okay.
Straight in the middle is the plan. That's the easy part. If he makes this, he takes Hospital pretty well out of the equation. Go on.
Sit there. Left, 14.
Just a fiddly one back. Just short irons in and expected to get close now. Thought that was going to spin back and he didn't get it. Didn't happen. It looked very good to Domingo right over the pin, and he can't really understand why the crowd aren't going crazy. Nervous moments as well for Chopra behind, having to wait if he wants to go for the green in 2. We'll just have to hold fire while Mitchell and Lomas putt out. Mitchell about 14,500 behind Jim Payne. I think he's going to go past Russell Clayton and Paul Broadhurst. And he was ahead of Paul Broadhurst anyway. Lee Westwood already in the team, probably with Barry Lane. And Jim Payne having finished at level par. This would help. This would have helped. Stays at 7 under. Birdie the last to catch Raymond Russell, who's sitting pretty on his own in 4th place at the moment. And a big putt for Jonathan Lomas. Quiet, please.
Good boy.
Oh, sometimes rather more than the 300-yard drives. That's the kind of shot that wins the tournament. He leads by 1. There's a chance, of course, for Chopra to square it with a birdie of his own at 17. Jonathan Lomas, though, 1 ahead with 1 to play. And there's this view from behind at the 17th green. First of all, will be Gary Orr to play, and he's no slouch. Can certainly get on in 2. Looks as if it might be going left as well. The pin cut left side, so Gary was really going for it and just overdid it a bit. And same problem, same spot as Peter Mitchell. So having seen that, Daniel Chopper with the fairway wood just to the right of the pin will do through those bunkers. Well, they like it. There's applause already. It's right at the pin. Now, has he got the length right? Oh, he has. Absolutely spot on, and it checks as well. Oh, great shot. So probably on a par with the shot of Colin Montgomery. Do you remember his second shot at Dubai with the driver off the deck across the water to hold off Miguel Angel Jimenez? He's got a putt for an eagle now, and he might just go ahead of Jonathan Lomas. The fat lady's not singing at the moment. Look at the face, he knows it's good. He knows it's very good, the applause has told him. Low 5. And that just could be the shot that wins the tournament for Daniel Chopra. He's smiling at. Still a little bit to do with the putt. 17, there's quite a swing on it from right to left, but he'll worry about that in a moment. He's just 22 and his 4th year as a pro, 83rd in the Volvo rankings. Good season. He's taken the pressure off in the last couple of weeks with top 10 finishes. That's secured his car for next year now. Just in a relaxed frame of mind, he's shooting the lights out here at Mariánské Lázně. So, Hospital still has a putt for birdie at 18. Let's not forget the Spaniard by any means. Jonathan Lomas leading by 1. But what a shot from Daniel Chopra. A putt for an eagle at 17. And it might be the week for Sweden and India. We'll find out when the putt takes place after the break. Back to the Czech Republic, where the motorcycling was pretty exciting earlier this afternoon, and I think we're in for as good a finish as we've seen all year on the European Tour, with an eagle putt to come for Daniel Chopra. Here's Gary Orr, 3rd shot at 17. Hasn't been his day, sadly, and won't be. There was always a problem with the pins so close to the left hand side once he took on the challenge and tried to get his second as close as he could. Blue skies for Jonathan Lomas and Daniel Chopra, and both either will be a first time winner on the European Tour. And Domingo Hospital, let's not forget him, the Spaniard, with a birdie putt at 18 as well. And it's been a terrific 4 days. Let's take a look at that shot again. It really is worth a second look. Lovely crack off the ball, and the crowd already sensing that it's good around the green and behind Chopra as well, taking that bunker out of play and sitting down very quickly. Absolute beauty. Not a gimme by any means, the putt, but putt for an eagle 3 for the 8th eagle of the week on this 17th, and without any doubt it would be the most important. So Hospital to share the lead, maybe not for long. This is to go 11 under. This is for a round of 66. Gave it a chance. It was uphill, so knew he had to hit it. So Hospital may have to settle for 3rd place. We shall see. This is the crucial one. He knows there's quite a swing on this one, and it's downhill as well, so it's pretty quick. Well, Madeira on the 2nd hole in the final round, he made an eagle. Thought he'd won. On the 2nd to last hole, Mariánské Lázně, sure if he makes the eagle he will win. Oh, it went the other way. Had to go from right to left. Had to go with the slope. It's quite a way past as well. So now he's struggling for his birdie. Almost defying gravity. It's just a fraction the other way of it. It just held the line. Over the last foot would have gone in. Even so, it's all locked up. Chopra and Lomas both at 11 under, and both now with just 18 to play. And here's Lomas. Out of the rough, he's got a wedge. He thinks it might fly. He's got to go over that bunker. Oh! Well, it just couldn't be better. I don't think he knows how good it is just yet. It did fly, nearly went in the hole. And surely Jonathan Lomas is going to finish with a birdie. Almost ran onto the green, I guess. Repairs the bit smart, enjoys the moment. He will tap in for a 3. Here's the shot. You see, he doesn't quite know how it's going to come out this rough. He thinks it's going to fly. That's why he's got the pitching wedge. And then sits down very quickly because it came out of the semi. No backspin to take it back down to the front of the green, and absolutely perfect career shot. Have a plug for the hotels. Get free accommodation for a year. And Jonathan Lomas going to be a winner in his 3rd year on tour. Taps that one eventually. He will leave Daniel Chopra needing a birdie to force a playoff. Chopra will have heard the applause back on the tee. Don't know quite how close though. On the right hand side, and that actually is the better side to be. It does open up the pin placing, which is cut on the left side, takes that bunker on the left, guarding the pin. Pretty well out of play. And well, you can't knock the way he's played. It's a solid swing, weight onto the right side and through. It's a compact, tidy swing. And, I don't think this will be the first leaderboard, or the last leaderboard round that we will see Daniel Chopra on. Now Peter Mitchell. Finish 8 under. That would secure his place in the English trio at St Andrews, almost certainly. If he gets down in 2, that might just be good enough. Oh. It's going to be a 72. 70, then a 65, which is still the equal low round of the week, then a 70 again, and a 72 to close. So Peter Mitchell from the London club. Again, he's enjoyed a pretty good week, which at times looked as if it could be so much better. Remember, after 6 holes yesterday, he actually got to 10 under and was taking the tournament by the scruff of the neck, and it came rudely back to the pack, dropping 4 shots in 3 holes. But this might be the putt that wins it for Jonathan Lomas. This is for a round of 66, and he sets the target at 12 under. And now the pressure is all on Chopra. Great round, couple of bogeys, 1 or 2 worries at 16, and didn't make his birdie at 17. So the press, Mickey Britton, Gordon Richardson, getting their stories for your papers tomorrow. Now we'll be back to see if Chopra can make that birdie after the break. Don't go away. Chopra needs a birdie at the last to force a playoff with Jonathan Lomas, who's just tapped in for his 3. A round of 66. He's set the target at 12 under. And there he is in the recorder's hut, just doing the paperwork. And that's very important. No names, no pack drill, but I was once told by a player that he was playing with another player who was so focused on his own game, he made no fewer than 13 mistakes on the player's card that he was marking. So tournaments have been won and lost in that recorder's hut, and that's why they take so much care and attention. But Daniel Chopra with this wedge, 9-iron into 18, and Jonathan Lomas, not looking at the TV screen, but he will have half an ear cocked to the crowd's reaction. Birdie to tie. It's over the pin, but it's long. It's long, and that's almost there for Lomas. Maybe the adrenaline pumping just a little bit. Maybe it came off the club hot. And still the card checking goes on. Peter Mitchell in there with Lomas. I think there may be, when news is just coming through of what's happened, I think from press officer Richard Dodd, he's saying, well, Chopra's gone through the back. Lomas won't believe it yet. We've seen chips hold at 18th holes before. There's Gary Orr. 3 over today. And what would Daniel Chopra have given for that shot? It's been a difficult day for Gary Orr. coming back after a 4-week break, and there are still many positive things that he can take out. Lomas has the grin now. He knows that chips can be held, but he thinks it's unlikely. I wouldn't put it past this young man though. He's equally as confident a character. And, well, now becomes quite important. Domingo Hospital is in at 10 under. 125,000 for first place. There's 83,320 for second. And third place is worth 46,940. So you're talking about big money here. And if he can't win, he will want to come second. Because by my calculations, second place would make Daniel Chopra the top Swede in the Volvo rankings. And that will get him into the Dunhill Cup side. But at the moment, that's just my calculator working overtime. But at the moment, for Chopra, all he's thinking is holding this chip. And Lomas, when he's not looking at it, I think he can bear to look. If I recall last year's winner, Peter Teravainen, outside that record is Hutton, just having a look at Howard Clark's putt to tie. And Lomas preferring just to let fate take its course. Looks like he's got the pin out. It's the first positive sign. It's uphill and reasonably straight. But it is the length of a cricket pitch, a good 22-23 yards. Pacing it out. He'd been a little less hard. He might have got some spin on the ball. Could have worked his way a bit closer. To tie. Given enough, he's given it down to the whole world. That was brave. No thoughts of second place money. He was still going for the win. So congratulations now from Jenny James and from Miguel, one of our referees, tour officials for Jonathan Lomas. All those nagging doubts with back problems and changing clubs and fiddling around and missing cut after cut for the last few weeks up until the past fortnight have disappeared, and he's the 12th first-time winner on this year's European Tour. Let's not forget Gary Orr. It's for a round of 73 to finish at 7 under. Kind of sums up the day. This is -6, and that will put him into a share of ninth place with Gary Evans, Dean Robinson, Miles, Tunnicliffe, Paul Broadhurst and Martin Gates. And earn him just over £13,500, but could have been so much more. Peter Teravainen with that 66. A share of 5th place with Jamie Spence, Lee Westwood and Peter Mitchell, and almost £25,000. And the difference between holding this putt and missing almost 20,000 on its own. And really there's more at stake, as I say. By my calculations, if he makes it, he makes the Dunhill Cup side, and that's worth several thousand anyway. Even if they don't progress beyond the round robin stage, it could be worth 100,000 or more. So a big putt for Daniel Chopra. This is for second place. This is for a 69. Oh, well done. Well, he's held a few of those, and that's why he can smile. He hasn't lost this tournament. Jonathan Lomas has won it. Chopra's had a great week. His best performance on the European Tour. Top Swede in the money list. He's second. check for over 83,000 is more than ample compensation, and not sure it's going to be that long before he's a winner. Took Jonathan Lomas almost 3 years, but the wait well worthwhile. At 66, he probably played just about best of all on this final day, and this is the shot that will long remain in the memory. He won a few video copies of this for the relatives. The shows of the grandchildren in years to come. Jonathan Lomas from Hill Valley, the stamping ground of Sandy Lyle, Peter Baker, Ian Woosnam. We've got a new champion, it's Jonathan Lomas, and he's just won £125,000 by winning the Chemapol Trophy Czech Open. So let's look through the leaderboards. Chopra in second. Domingo Hospital might just have done enough to get in the Spanish Dunhill Cup side. Raymond Russell up above Podrick Harrington now in the race for Rookie of the Year. Peter Teravainen, his first Czech in Europe this year at the 9th attempt, and is almost £25,000. Lee Westwood 16-17, what might have been. Jamie Spence also not making putts when it mattered. I think Peter Mitchell might just have squeezed into the English Dunhill Cup side, and Dean Robertson that third round 75, undoing the Scots' chances. 69 today for Gary Evans, he's had a good week. Gary Orr a 74, question of what might have been. 67 for Richard Boxall, and 68 for Mark Rowe. He's well and truly on the road back to the leaderboards once again. Carl Sunnison out early with 68. Emmanuel Canonica finishing at -5, just missing a putt for birdie at the last that might have meant so much. Gary Clark shareholders will be pretty well pleased with the way their man's performed once again this week. Russell Claydon, those 268s, it looked as if it might be Russell's week for a first win, but falling back over the weekend. Paul Lawrie with a 74 when many suspected he might shoot in the 60s once again. Well, obviously coming to the end of our coverage of all 4 days of the Chemapol Trophy Czech Open. Next week it's all 4 days of the Volvo German Open, and Mark Robson will be in this seat, and I'll be back sometime, don't quite know when, in September. Jim Payne, I think Peter Mitchell just got past him on the rankings. See Stephen Field, Robert Coles, David A. Russell all struggling to keep their card. Only they could have been a couple of shots low, who knows. Jochen Hagman didn't have the sort of weekend that he would have hoped for. We're winning 68. And there it is, just about the story of the week. Matthias Grönberg, a nightmare third round 80, put pay to his chances. Paul McGinley, understandable reaction to that last week's win. He was the 11th first time winner. Jonathan Lomas is the 12th. Lifts the trophy, and then we'll talk to Peter Oosterhuis.
Jonathan, congratulations. Fantastic second shot on the 18th hole. Did you think that had sewn it up?
Well, I didn't realise it was that close until we actually saw it on the green, and my caddy and I were discussing what club to hit, and we eventually picked the pitching wedge, and well, we just hit it straight at it, and it flew up in the air and got a flyer out the rough, and it went perfect. So delight.
The season's been a bit of a struggle overall. You had a chance perhaps to win the Italian Open, but after that, a real struggle.
Yeah, well, just trying to get fit. I've had a back problem for 2 years, and it's finally gone away. So I'm just delighted to be playing with no pain, and I've played a lot this year as well. Well, I can't believe I've won either. So
congratulations on a fine win, and we'll see you next week in Germany.
thank you, Peter. Yeah.
Well, understandably, Jonathan Lomas a little bit overwhelmed, and why not? Many congratulations to Jonathan. Great performance. I'm Steve Beddoe. See you soon.
The PGA European Tour was brought to you by Volvo.